What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Footballrs. My name is Tony, and you can follow me down below at LINEMAN Football. Today's video, we're doing the full review on the Adidas Freak 21 or Freak Carbon football cleats, depending on who you ask. Now, before this video starts, guys, do not forget, go ahead and subscribe right now. We put out 2 videos every single week about everything new happening as far as like football gear, football tips, anything football related. It's going to be on this channel. So if you play football, you're going to want to subscribe. Now, with these cleats, these were sent to us by eSpace, so go ahead, check them out. Thank you to eSpace. They'll be linked through eSpace in the description down below. On their website, they're listed as the Adidas Freak Carbon cleats. Now, the older edition of these were called the Freak X Carbon. Now, if you go into Adidas 2021 fall catalog, these are just listed as the Adidas Freak 21s. So it kind of depends on where you look. Now, if you do want to pick up these cleats for yourself, the MSRP was supposed to be $100. Overall, these cleats come in, I think, like 5 or 6 different colorways. You have an all black and all white, and then a blue, red, and a gold. Okay, so to kick off this video, the first thing we're gonna do is look at the traction plate on the bottom of this cleat. When I talked about it in the first impression video, there's a lot of things that they did with this traction plate that I actually really like over like the Adidas Nasty. Number one thing they did, they made the studs on here slightly longer. So with these studs now, you can see they're gonna grip into the ground a little bit better. You're gonna have a little bit more bite with these, which is really nice. Now in the front, you do have 9 circular and partially like triangular shaped studs on here. You have 4 nice long ones on the back, and you don't have any internal studs in here. However, hopefully you can pick it up. If you could look down at it, you can see there's like these raised linear kind of lines in here that are supposed to help a little bit. I'm not too sure about that, but the studs nonetheless do function really well. You also have these like triangles that run all along the sides to help you like grip in and bite. Really nice as well. Also, one of the really good things that Adidas does is going to be their insoles in the cleat. So their insoles, you can see they put a really nice thick insole in their cleats. Now it looks extra thick here. It's because it kind of goes around this curve, so it's not as thick, but the whole thing is as thick as it is right here. So it really feels like you're getting a really good quality midsole in your cleat, which is when they can get around that. However, you would probably notice that this will break down over time in a way that a midsole might not. All right, so besides the traction plate, let's talk about some of the other categories here. Number one is going to be like the fit and comfort. So how well does this fit my foot? How well does it conform to my foot? And my biggest complaint with this thing is I think they relied a little bit too heavy on this lacing system here. So if you see on this cleat how far down this lacing system actually goes, where if I look at like its competitor, which would be like this Nike Alpha Menace, you can really see how far down that lacing system goes on here. And I think it's like they added 1 or 2 rings like too much. I think the problem is that if they would have maybe pulled it back slightly here, you could rely more on the cleat itself to hug your foot, where I think you're relying really heavy on the lacing system here, making sure you get a tight fit, and it's not as much about the overall cleat technologies that are giving you the tight fit, if that makes sense. I just found it was kind of hard to get like a really good snug tight fit with like this amount of laces on here. A couple other things to talk about with the lacing as well. The laces were slightly too long for me, so I had to like double knot them so they wouldn't hang down. They are pretty thin lace too, so I'm not really sure about, these could probably get cut really easy by other cleats. Also on the inside here, they do this like weird wrapping system. That's gonna be something that's gonna be pretty tough to replicate yourself if you ever do take the laces out. One other thing to talk about is I feel like the tongue on this cleat is just like too big. Like with my foot inside the cleat, it felt like it was kind of like pushing the tongue up, and the tongue was like poking out between the laces, and it kind of just looked a little bit whack. So I think they should have sized down the tongue a little bit on this thing. It is very nice, it's very cushy, it's very comfortable, but it's not very practical, if that makes sense. You know, the rest of the upper material is nice. It is a really good snug fit, which I do like. The back is also really nice as well. This is pretty similar to like the Adidas Nasty. It's like a fake leather type material. So overall, it conformed to my foot pretty good, but I would like to see them maybe adjust the lacing system on this a little bit in the future. Next, I want to talk briefly about breathability. This material on the front is really not breathable at all, one thing I noticed. And that's why they added all these little perforations in the material that's underneath it to help it out. But I did find that my feet were actually getting pretty hot in these pretty fast. To touch on ankle support a bit as well, you're really not going to have a lot of ankle support with these cleats. These are like a mid to low style cleat from Adidas, which does make sense Adidas right now basically has 3 levels. So you have like your Adidas Nasty, which is your highest. Then you have your Adidas Freak. And then you have like your receiver Adidas cleats, which Devin can talk way more to than I ever could. All right, next thing I want to talk about is going to be the styling of these cleats and like how do they look, right? They look pretty good. I think they, like I said, the tongue makes it look a little bit weird. So I would like to see the tongue corrected in the future to give like a little bit more seamless line to it. The other thing which I kind of thought was a miss was they have these nice Adidas on the side here and that like fleckled.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Whatever material, but they didn't put that on this side of it. So I think that was a little bit weird of a choice on there as well. I kind of feel like they should have matched that. Now, like I did say, these are like a mid to low tier cleats, so they're definitely not gonna be as heavy as other like LINEMAN specific cleats. These weighed in at right around like 13, 14 ounces. I think the Adidas this year weighed, I think, what, 11 ounces? And then the Adidas Nasties weighed like 16. So basically right in the middle between the two. Then really the last thing we need to hit on here is like what position these are going to be good for right now and who's wearing them. And the people wearing these cleats right now in the NFL are mostly going to be like your linebacker-esque people. So we've seen Von Miller in these, we've seen Bradley Chubb in these cleats as well, and that's going to be kind of your indication. These are going to be really good for your linebacker, your tight end, your kind of mid-level position where you don't need that like straight line speed and weight that comes in like an Adidas cleat. However, you don't need the ankle support and the weight that comes with it of like an Adidas Nasty cleat. So these Adidas Freak are going to be a really good mid-level cleat for anyone that kind of has to move around the field and play a lot of different positions. So there you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's review on the Adidas Freak 21 cleats. Now, if you did like this video, go ahead, hit that like button. That lets us know which company you ride or die with. So hit that like button down below if you're an Adidas guy. I'll check you next time.